believing in students, believing in community, that we're here today. So let me introduce you, my big brother, my friend, and president of Contra Costa College, McKinley Wing.
We're so happy to be able to host this event today. This came as a vision that Terrance had, and he talked to me. It's been about 2 years ago about his focus on service learning and what he thought it would bring to our college and to this community. John F. Kennedy that once said that a person that gives of themselves oftentimes is the person that makes the world a little bit better. And I believe that we all have an opportunity to give back to our community. And in today's society, it's clear to me that there's not enough of us to go around. When we look at the crime that's in our community, when we look at the poverty that's in our community and all of the other things that have beset us, it's really clear to me that we're going to have to train a generation that feels and believes the way in which some of our forefathers believed, that we need to be together to make this world a better place. We're going to have to work together, we're going to have to live together, we're going to have to do things together that's going to improve our lot. A lot of times students come to community colleges or come to four-year colleges, and they receive a lot of theory. They receive a lot of information. Information in theory is good, but the practical application of that is even better. And when you can take the theory and the information that you've learned back to the community and begin to provide some hope for people, I believe that is when we're really educating our students. And our students need to know more than what we give them in the class. This community, for sure, we need to make our students more socially conscious and more able to go back into the community to provide what I believe is that necessary love and altruism that we all hope to have. I'm hoping that we'll be able to glean some bits and pieces from today to take back to your various campuses to implement service learning at your campuses so that we can improve not only our communities but enhance the lives of our students. So thank you so very much and welcome to Contra Costa College.
This is the community I grew up in. This is the community I live in. I grew up in Parchester Village, and understanding that concept of being in a village, in a black community growing up, and having that sense of responsibility about community and understanding helping one another and lending a hand, some of the values that I came up with. The pioneers of service learning, and she definitely has a lot to say about why we're in this and what service learning is about. I think she's a great person for us to try to get an understanding. What is this really? What do we mean by service learning? How do I do it? How should we be doing this? So I invited her, she's accepted, and she's here ready to go. So let's give her a big hand, Dr. Elaine.
It's a pleasure for me to be with you all today. I'm going to start off with just saying a little bit about the organization that I represent and a little bit of the history. So if we can move to the next slide. California Campus Compact is a statewide membership organization. We are made up of college presidents who are committed to developing civically and socially responsible college students. And there were a lot of folks who were really concerned about how materialistic we were, how individualistic we were. I think that trend may still have continued. We have all these shows about becoming an instant millionaire. And so the college presidents at that time were really concerned about this sort of whole individual focus, the personal gain of going to college. It's all about getting a job, making money, taking care of me. And felt at the time there was a lot of research showing that community service, getting college students involved in community service had some really positive impacts on college students in their sense of understanding others who are different than them, getting out there in the community, the whole aspect of practical application of your education. We'll talk more about that. And they felt that they could, that there was a collective of college presidents who might feel like they did, really concerned that not just academics are important, but the whole well-being and well-roundedness of a college student, and that that should be a part of the college experience. Basically, service learning is a form of experiential education in which learning occurs through a cycle of action and reflection. as students work with others through a process of applying what they're learning to community issues, and at the same time reflecting upon their experience as they seek to achieve real objectives for the community and deeper understanding and skills for themselves. So how is service learning different from volunteerism and community service? Well, volunteering and community service are indeed noble activities and essential to our communities. Learning is a primary focus of service learning. Sometimes the service or volunteer activity can have a feeling of being a charitable act. Whereas with service learning, we try to have much more of a focus on education and often even social change or social justice. Talk about purposeful academic learning and a deeper understanding and application of the knowledge. And what I want to say about that is just a lot of times we're seeing in the research that students retain the information they're learning in your courses a lot better because there is both an accountability for that knowledge as they share it with the community. And so they take more ownership in really learning the materials, especially if they're tutoring and mentoring other young children. They might have to take what they're learning and turn around and transfer it to others.
LNC, Administration of Justice, and I can see a lot of opportunity for service learning and administration of justice. From a practical point of view, are we talking about time in addition to classroom time? How
We try and encourage folks to think about, instead of writing a paper that we tell students will take 20 hours, but we also know that they pull an all-nighter the night before and write it. But the idea is that the same amount of time they would have put into something like writing you could make it a choice. You have a choice of writing a 20-page paper or doing 16 hours of, community serving it as extra credit. There are a lot of different ways. So there are examples out there, and we can get you some resources.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shyam Shabak. I'm the founder and director of Eco Village Farm Learning Center. We have a 5.5-acre farm about a quarter mile from here. We've been involved in service learning with high school and university students, high school students within the district here, and also UC Berkeley students and some other colleges for over 5 years, including working with the what is now the Civic Corps, but used to be formerly the East Bay Conservation Corps. So we have a great deal of experience in doing service learning projects. We welcome it. It's a great opportunity, and as a good friend of mine, Sharon, has just said, it's really, really simple to do. And I want to take this opportunity to mention that oftentimes, when we engage with our students, they don't know the history of what's been going on before. And Dr. George Washington Carver, he started out doing service learning years ago with the students at Tuskegee. And it's never mentioned, you come along and you see Dr. So-and-so from USC and so-and-so, but you never hear of him. And it's our responsibility to teach our youth their history so that they can understand that we've been doing things for a long time and that they got some responsibility to carry on that tradition. And so we'll be sharing with you some of our experiences and some of the challenges and opportunities we have in doing that in the workshop that we're doing. So thank you very much.
Many mentors in our society are young and they're students. And so it's one of the first opportunities that they may get. So we have to create the opportunity in such a way to understand that this is a first impression opportunity. And we're asking these students to mentor today. But again, they'll be called to mentor later on in their lives as well. So I'm gonna throw mentoring out there on the table. You know how I feel about it.
Yes, I do. It's worth the investment. Going back to what the brother said, if the village elders don't teach them, village idiots will. I mean, it's just, I like this question, how can the African American students become active? But we might want to say, how can the African American elders become active so that we can teach the African American students what activity looks like. Shine that light on ourselves first before we start talking about the students, because they are, whether we like it or not, a reflection of us. Okay? Yes. They are a reflection of us. So.
Service learning and creating experiences for students as they go out into organizations. like Mr. Boggins, and actually have an experience. I think we need to, at least here at this level, give them the tools necessary to be successful in those.
1975, I took a philosophy course called Death and Dying, and we had a service requirement where we had to go out in the community. I chose to go to an old folks home where I was supposed to socialize with someone. I met a woman by the name of Lois who bragged about starting school at the age of 10 in 1900, and she retired as a school teacher. At the end of my relationship with Lois, I decided I wanted to be a teacher. Since then, I've worked with an organization called Meals with Wheels and Hospice International. Service learning really affected my life, and I'm really thankful to Dr. Elliot for bringing it here to Contra Costa and getting us to focus on it.
To implement service learning at your campuses so that we can improve not only our communities but enhance the lives of our students. So thank you so very much and welcome to Contra Costa College.